Is it me, or does every call seem to be going against the Vikings here?
Unfortunately, Kirk Cousins he just doesn't have it.
Can he run for the first down? And he does. Up to the 40. The ball comes out. The ball's out, and he's sacked.
And they got that Kirk Cousins guy who's worthless. He's worthless. 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 Worthless.
Cousins, he's got time. A high throw and overthrew Adam Thielen, who was open.
Kirk Cousins. He's a frickin' disaster.
Is going deep for Diggs. He can't handle it.
Right.
Shut up. 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 He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. Ask Redskins fans. He doesn't have it. In the big games, under the lights at night, he doesn't have it.
Wanted Thielen. Throws a Hail Mary.
I mean, Kirk Cousins can't do anything. He cannot do anything.
Cousins is not Mitch Trubisky.
Wanted Thielen. Throws a Hail Mary. Kevin King.
Because it looked like it was B.J. Goodson coming over the top and knees it out. Because it looked like it was B.J. Goodson coming over the top and knees it out. Because it looked like it was B.J. Goodson coming over the top and knees it out.
Going deep for Diggs. In the air. Diggs has him. It's a Viking touchdown.
Another critical mistake by the Vikings.
Cousins to throw and dropped. Stephon Diggs had his hands on it.
Now you got to make plays.
Rodgers to throw. It has all day and wide open. He's got it. It's Davante Adams.
Out. So there's Davante Adams on the outside. He's coming that way, and now he breaks back. So instead of bringing him from the opposite side.
3rd and 4. Quick toss. Open. Davante Adams. Goes out of bounds, but it's 1st and goal pack.
Step up with some consistency to pair with Davante Adams. So with a couple of really good corners.
Rodgers has it on the move to Davante Adams inside the 20. But Rodgers is loose again. And there's Adams, and there's a flag. Yeah, he was disrupted on his way downfield. And it's Xavier Rhodes who suck! Zimmer kind of shouted out he's got to play up to his contract. Rodgers goes in front of that, and it's a 1st down catch. Davante Adams. On 2nd down, 6, Rodgers to throw, and does for a 1st down to Davante Adams, who started the game with a big catch. Goes over 100 receiving yards.
So I'm going to start with a reading from the Gospel according to Eddie Money. I get frightened in all this darkness. I get nightmares. I hate to sleep alone. I need some company, guardian angel, to keep me warm when the cold winds blow. Kind of how I feel. Frightened, nightmares, sleeping alone. Hurts, you know. I also, took some solace in the Bible this week. John 11:35, Jesus wept. Let's examine Pro Football Talk's power rankings going into Week 3 in light of this recent Vikings loss to Green Bay. Let's see how long it takes for my head to explode as I read this, okay? So the Vikings are number 10 in the power rankings. The defense is good enough. Okay, that's as far as I made it. My head exploded.
This was Mike Zimmer's biggest fear. He said all week his defense was being told, you are the greatest thing since sliced bread.
The defense is good enough. The defense is good. They spotted them 21 points in the first quarter and the third or whatever, the first 20 minutes of the game. The defense didn't even show up. They didn't wake up. They didn't do anything until they were down 21-0. And even at that, they were going to let Green Bay score their fourth touchdown, and the Green Bay receiver just randomly dropped the ball when Rhodes was falling backwards to let him get a first down. And then even in the second half, when the Vikings defense was so much better, yeah, they held them scoreless, but Green Bay ran right through us. Our defensive line couldn't stop their run all game. So defense is good enough. The running game is good enough. Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. The receivers are good enough. No, Stephon Diggs is not good enough.
Another critical mistake by the Vikings.
He's not good enough. The offensive line is good enough. I don't know. I mean, they weren't horrible, but they're still not great. The jury's still out. The special teams are good enough. My head just blew up again. I mean, Dan Bailey, the inability to make any kicks. He makes that field goal in the first quarter, makes it 7-3. Again, maybe we got a different game. The coaching is good enough. Yeah, defense comes out and, spots the opposing team 21 points. You got a defensive head coach. The coaching is plenty good, right? There's nothing wrong with the coaching there that the team can't show up and play in the first 20 minutes. There's nothing wrong with the coaching. The point being made here by Pro Football Talk is it's all the quarterback that's the problem. It's 100% Kirk Cousins. If it wasn't for Kirk Cousins, this would be the greatest team of all time. Yes, Kirk Cousins is horrible. They should have won with Kirk Cousins. If the defense shows up in the first quarter, they win. With Kirk Cousins, they win. They could have won with Kirk Cousins. Now, they would have won with just about any other quarterback in the NFL. I'll grant you that. But they would also have won with just about any other defense in the first quarter. But yeah, the officials were a problem too.
Is it me, or does every call seem to be going against the Vikings here?
No doubt. I mean, it's just unbelievable, some of those calls. But, I remember a certain game at Lambeau Field maybe 10 years ago. It was actually a playoff game. The Packers were 15-1, heavy favorites to win the Super Bowl. And I think they were the 9-7 New York Giants, 9-7, sort of like how the Vikings are going to be every year that they have Kirk Cousins if they're lucky. 9-7 Giants come strolling into Lambeau Field ready to just get crushed. And the refs gave the Packers every call. There was a Greg Jennings fumble that they said, oh, he was down, or whatever they said. And there was blatant roughing the passer on Eli Manning they didn't call. Non-roughing the passer on Aaron Rodgers that they did call. Everything. The refs were trying desperately to give that game to the Packers. And how many did the Packers win by in that game? The refs did everything they could to give the Packers the game, the 15-1 Packers. The Packers won by, I think, -16 points. And that included some garbage points at the end by Aaron Rodgers, I think. Packers got smoked even with all the refs out. And that's what should have happened on Sunday. Packers are not that good of a team, and the Vikings lost. Whether the refs had a hand in it or not, what that says is the Vikings are not that good a team either. The Vikings were worth anything. They would have won by 2 touchdowns, even with the refs making all those bad calls. But what the heck with the refs? I mean,
is it me, or does every call seem to be going against the Vikings here?
Thank goodness, it wasn't the Saints playing the Packers. All those calls going against the Saints, they would have had to rewrite the entire NFL rule book to placate those Saints fans. Because you got to do that because a hurricane hit their city 15 years ago. And let's also not lose sight of this fact. What happens if Kirk Cousins doesn't throw that interception at the end? Which wasn't an interception, by the way. The guy had it for 1/10 of a second and he lost it. He hits the ground and he starts to roll over, immediately loses control of the ball. Oh, that's an interception. In this day and age, okay, they reverse a Vikings touchdown for some bizarre replay review of every other thing on the play, and that's an interception. But anyway, let's grant it. Let's say it's an interception. Let's say Cousins doesn't make that throw. Let's say on second down, Dalvin Cook runs it in for a touchdown. Okay, the Vikings take the lead by 1 or 3 points, depending on whether they get the 2-point conversion. There's what, 3 or 4 minutes left? Who gets the ball? Aaron Rodgers. What's going to happen? Xavier Rhodes is going to leave Davante Adams all alone. They'll march down the field and either kick a winning field goal or score a winning touchdown. The Vikings were not going to win that game, even if Cousins put him in the end zone. The Vikings were not going to win that game. They were going to find a way to lose. They were going to take their helmet off after a touchdown, even when they're still losing. They're going to hit a guy late on a punt return. They're going to do everything they can to lose the game. It's sad about Dalvin Cook, though. I mean, he's such an explosive player. I mean,
that's what he can do. There he goes. Dalvin Cook all the way in for a Viking touchdown.
He's so good.
So good.
When he's healthy, he's so good. Aside from his touchdown run, every other one of his yards went for naught. But that's the thing with this offense. They have to score immediately. They have to score like 1 or 2 plays, or they will get 0 points ever on any drives. Every score they had came from a huge play. There was the Cook touchdown, the Diggs touchdown, and the Chad Beebe huge play that would have led to a touchdown if they hadn't reversed it. Chad Beebe, of course, the guy not good enough to start over Laquan Treadwell last year. Screw you, Rick Spielman. They have to score on every play. They have to try to score on every play. That's the only hope. Otherwise, they'll get a penalty, they'll turn it over, something bad will happen. What does that tell you? They're not a good team. You can't not turn it over or not shoot yourself in the foot every 5th play. You're not a good team, and you're not well coached. Oh, but the coaching's good enough. There is talent there. But the effort isn't there. They just want to coast on their reputations. And Xavier Rhodes, who hopefully will be an ex-Viking soon, he's the prime point. He doesn't give any effort on any play, ever. Just Adams, he's just giving him these huge cushions and just lollygagging after him the whole game. It's like, how about a little sense of urgency here? I was surprised. Everson Griffin had a good game. Unfortunately, when your shutdown corner can't cover the opposing receiver for even a split second, you could have Usain Bolt running unblocked at Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to get to him before he can complete the pass to Davante Adams. So, time for awards. This is a pretty big one. This is an award for the best defensive strategy. Honestly, I would say the most innovative defensive strategy. So, this was the Mike Zimmer and the Vikings defense at the start of the game. Vikings just didn't do anything on defense. They didn't try at all. They didn't give any resistance to the Packers offense. And it's like in that Seinfeld episode where George Costanza, he gets like a 3-month severance at the start of the summer from his company. And so he decides, I'm not going to do anything all summer.
I proclaim this the summer of George.
I'm just going to sit in a chair, watch TV, eat. And probably do other things we can't talk about. By the end of the summer, his whole body is shut down.
Your legs have sustained extensive trauma. Apparently, your body was in a state of advanced atrophy.
He has faced so little resistance, has so little physical exertion, that his body's basically toast. That is what the Vikings did to the Packers at the start of the Vikings-Packers game. The Vikings defense gave so little resistance. The Packers, like muscles and tendons and ligaments and everything, just started to atrophy.
Gentlemen, please rest your sphincters.
And it got to the point where they faced so little resistance, everything was so easy that 81 or whoever, don't know his name, not going to look it up, he caught that pass, and Rhodes was like on one side of the first down marker, and then Rhodes was like, well, I'm going to back up behind the first down marker to let him get the first down. He ran into Rhodes, and the ball just popped out for no reason, and Vikings got it. And from that point forward, the Packers really couldn't do anything. It was the summer of George defense. They couldn't get it back because the Vikings had caused their bodies to shut down. Another award, the award for the highest ratio of pass rushers to pressure on a quarterback. That was the Vikings. I forget when it was, but the Vikings rushed, I think, 47 guys. I think everybody on their bench rushed the quarterback, and they didn't get near him. It's amazing. I think each Packer offensive lineman was blocking a different guy with each finger. No pressure. It's pretty incredible. Go defensive line. And last, the Brad Childress Award for the stupidest play call in history. This is, again, the same one we saw kind of last week, where you run a slow developing kind of dump off to Kyle Rudolph, the slowest player on the team, for nothing. And then they ran kind of the exact same play on the next play, except they threw it to Dalvin Cook and he got like 28,000 yards. It's like, you know, I might run that to Cook every time, or anyone other than Rudolph. Maybe throw it to Diggs and then he can get like 5 yards and then take his helmet off. And rest in peace, Eddie Money. Rest in peace, Rick Ocasek of the Cars. The Cars, you know, the great song Magic. I played that for my ex-wife at our wedding. Magic. Turns out she was the magician because she made our love disappear.